Thank you for joining us at our virtual retirement celebration for Sister Rosalie. The photos you were seeing were just part of the caregiverhood of the Traveling Sister Project. We have created cutouts of Sister Rosalie and circulated them around the inland Northwest Washington ministries. And this project was one of many celebrations we've planned to have to celebrate this incredible individual and her profound support that she has provided to Providence over these last 22 years. I'm Susan Stacy, the Chief Executive for the Inland Northwest Washington Service Area, and it is my absolute honor to welcome you today to our virtual celebration for Sister Rosalie. Today, I'm joined by members of our mission team, Washington, Montana Chief Mission Integration Officer John Kleiderer and Kelly Durgan, the Chief Mission Integration Officer for the Spokane County Ministries. And then we have a special guest today, Sister Rosalie. If you have questions or well wishes for Sister, please enter it into the chat. We'll be reading some of those later in our event. But to kick off the festivities, I'm going to turn it over to Kelly Durgan for a reflection. Kelly?
Thanks, Susan. It is a joy to join everybody today. And I want to talk about the legacy that Sister Rosalie leaves in Spokane. Every department has received her attention or prayer over the years. She uses her voice to advocate unceasingly for those on the margins, making sure we live out our mission commitments to be steadfast in caring for all, but with special attention to the poor and vulnerable. She'll continue to sit on a couple of boards, providing a tangible reminder of our commitments and roots, faithful to Provident God. Sister Rosalie often tells us, "Today is my favorite day." This sign hangs in the newly named conference room in our own Inwa Providence Foundation office on the Sacred Heart campus. Sister reminds us that each day is a gift from God, to be used as divine providence guides us. She is ready for what comes, secure in the knowledge that she will continue to serve through her prayers and hold all of our well-being in her heart. As we think about our local ministries without an active Sister of Providence in our midst, we look to each and every caregiver who holds the mission and value in their hearts and hands. And we all together live out our commitment to be God's healing love to one another. For this responsibility was never Sister Rosalie's alone, but a promise that we all make to know, care, and ease the way of each other. It's up to all of us to be listening and faithful to God's call, and to be aware of what it means to be whole and healed through our compassionate service. So as we say goodbye to Sister Rosalie this week, I'd like to offer this special prayer and blessing. Provident God, we ask your blessing in a special way as we send Sister Rosalie forth into retirement, secure in the knowledge that we are forever changed by her compassionate presence. May we honor her service with our own, committing ourselves to being God's healing love to one another. As she leaves active ministry, we wish her life abundant, knowing she continues to listen to your call and share your abundant love in this world. Amen, and thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, for that wonderful reflection. I've had the blessing to serve in Providence for more than 35 years and have had the privilege of serving with Sister Rosalie since she joined Providence in 2000 as the Director of Mission and Values for Sacred Heart Medical Center. During her time with Providence, Sister Rosalie encouraged, taught, modeled, and led administrators, physicians, and caregivers in remaining faithful to the heritage and the legacy of the Sisters of Providence. She has served as an advocate and a champion for living the mission and values with our Providence ministries in Spokane and Stevens County. Over several decades, the ministry and people of Providence have been so blessed to have Sister Rosalie with us. As she embarks in the new journey of retirement, we look back at the support she's provided to our Providence community. So now, please Enjoy this video that reflects her life and legacy through testimonials from just some of the many people who knew her.
When little children used to be asked in grade school, and they'd say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "I want to be a teacher. I want to be a mom." And some would say, "I want to be a firefighter." But I would always say, "I want to be a sister."
I remember the first meeting we had, we were with another group. And I thought, my gosh, she was full of vim and vigor. It oozes out of her. And she was just so eager. She came knowing she had a lot to learn, very humble. This is going to be the perfect person at Sacred Heart.
She always had an easy touch and ability to kind of bring me back where I needed to be and change my perspective and keep things moving forward.
That passion that she had and love of the caregivers, was an ensuring. Had such a sense of assurance. Her door is always open, and anybody would feel welcome to go in and exchange ideas with Rosalie, reflect on maybe what they had read, or to just be listened to. Rosalie is a great listener, and to just be understood.
I've never seen her upset. I've never seen her anxious. She just has this really deep belief that God's with her every step of the way. And it's going to be all right. Whatever the outcome is, it's going to be all right. When she texts me, there's always an emoji that has a smiling face or a heart. I see her faith in almost every interaction I have with her.
She's known for just her famous, "Pay attention," she'd say. "Excuse me?" And when COVID hit, she goes, "Excuse me, why are we making all these plans of how to support people and no one has said we need to pray? We need to pray."
I think what I see, not only who she was before her cancer, but those of us able to witness and go on that journey with her, is how she handled it with such grace and compassion for others. It wasn't all about her. When I would go to her infusion appointments with her, and how she would reach out to other people in the infusion room there, and they would open up to her. It was what she would do at the hospital.
I'm coming to the end of my active ministry at Sacred Heart and through Providence. And it's very difficult to let that go because I don't know what's next. I have loved my people and worked with amazing caregivers and have seen amazing healing, compassionate, absolute wonderful care. I have been transformed by them. I have learned from them. And I've made many good friends, and I don't want to leave them.
I think it's something special about Sister Rosalie. I think it's her heart. Her heart, between Victoria and Sister Rosalie, they've got the biggest hearts I've ever seen, I've ever known, and I aspired to have a heart like they have. It's consistent, it's persistent, it's overwhelming, pouring out of true love, genuine love for anyone and everyone at any time. And it's extremely powerful. And to know Sister Rosalie, I wouldn't have to explain this to anyone because they would know it, they would feel it. And it comes out of her. It's just how she is, who she is.
She's just one of a kind, and her legacy, I believe, is one of love, because she emanates God's love.
She did an amazing job of teaching us all about the history of the Sisters of Providence, and then giving us the tools to then carry it forward. There's a saying that we're standing on the shoulders of those before us. So I do feel there is a weight of that, and I want to live up to what Sister Rosalie and the Sisters of Providence would want out of us so we can carry forward the mission.
I feel that we have strong mission leaders. We have amazing mission leaders, and they have been for the last 10, 15 years been the bearers of the mission in terms of being the coordinators and all of that. I've been a part of the team only. And I have no doubt that they are not only going to continue bringing their gifts, their charism, their talents, they're going to bring something new that I can't. And they have been. They have been bringing things to mission that I don't have the talents or gifts to do. As I start to say, let go of what you have known and embrace what something new is going to be, I feel like there's another transformation. I've been trained by all these wonderful people and these experiences. Without a sister being here, it will be a bit different. But it's been different for 20 years since when we had 5 or 6 sisters here, and we've only had 1. But did you notice a big difference? Sometimes. But you know why you didn't notice? Because you are living the mission. The sister's spirit is still here. The sister's prayers are still encasing every person and every department and every patient and every visitor and every space in this sacred place of healing. We are still here. Physically, we won't be, but every other way we are. And every day, it's my favorite day. I wake up in the morning, I say, Jesus, thank you for the night's sleep and for the new day. And every day is my best day. Even when I'm not feeling great, I woke up. I'm alive. I'm well. I have loved ones. And so I'll live every day, one day at a time. And that's what I'm going to do in retirement. I'm going to live every day, just like you are. You don't have a future either. Our future is now, and now, and now, and now. And it's a bright future.
I feel like somebody should drop a mic, should drop the mic, because this was a mic dropping moment. Sister, I hope you enjoyed that video, and we can't wait to hear more from you. So we're going to turn it over to John Kleider to lead us in some question and answer session. John, take it away.
Thank you, Susan. And sister, I know this is very emotional for you to watch that video. This is a time this whole week to celebrate you. And so there's a lot of love that I hope you are feeling in all of this. You and I have had these conversations about your retirement for many, many months and even years. And it's hard to believe here we are in these last few days. So we have some questions that we wanted to ask you in this final town hall with you, and so we'll just jump into those. And you know, as we think back about your journey with Providence, it began the day you were born and came into this world at St. Mary in Walla Walla, and had so many experiences with the sisters growing up. And so one of the questions we had for you is there a favorite childhood memory as you think back to those visits and memories with the sisters that you hold especially dear?
First of all, let me say thank you to each of you. I am overwhelmed. You know, I do have many memories of the sisters when I was growing up. When I was a young girl in grade school, when my mom would go to town to do something, I'd always beg her to go and drop me off at St. Mary's Hospital, because the sister administrator there, whose name was Sister Joseph of Arimathea. Now, is that ironic? Little Sister Joseph was the first Sister of Providence here at Sacred Heart in 1886. But this Sister Joseph of Arimathea was the superior at the hospital. And I was her little friend. And I would always go, and my mom would drop me off for a little bit to go visit Sister Joseph at the hospital. And she used to walk me around the hospital. I used to go on rounds with her, if you will. So that was a really wonderful memory. As far as the healthcare piece, I was educated by the Sisters of Providence in grade and high school. One of the other wonderful experiences that I had, we had a little Sister Gertrude, was the kitchen sister at the St. Vincent's Academy. And on weekends when I was, preteen and teenager, and even in high school, I used to go up to the academy on a Saturday, and I helped Sister make sandwiches for those folks that would come to the back door, because the transients and those who at the time were people, I suppose, homeless, but we didn't have that many in those days, but mostly were transients, would come to the back door of the academy to the kitchen, and we would give them sandwiches. So I had that opportunity to be a part of what the ministry of the sisters was, and it deeply struck me. The sisters weren't always happy. They had their problems and issues. There were sisters in grade school that I was kind of afraid of because they were a little stern, but I was deeply affected by them. And I knew from the time I was really little, like I said in that video, when people asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I knew. And, God was faithful in bringing me here. So wonderful years of growing up with the Sisters of Providence. And I'll just say this. I have one Sister of Providence who currently was one of my teachers. In fact, she taught me in 2nd grade, Sister Virginia Miller, and she is in her early 90s, and she is at St. Joseph Residence in Seattle. And next week, I will see her. She's the only surviving Sister of Providence that taught me.
Wow. So speaking of next week, on September 17th, you will be celebrating 60 years, 6 decades as a Sister of Providence. This is a hard question to ask, but what, because it's so big, but what does that mean to you? What is that milestone to you?
Well, to be really honest, I think what it really says is that God has been the one that's been faithful. I'm not here because I did things that were that I merited anything or I deserved anything. I know I did good things because I followed God, and I believe in divine providence. But I think it was that God has always been faithful. I have stumbled along the way. I've made stupid mistakes. I've been probably unkind. I've been whatever it is, but God has always been the faithful one. And I think that it is by divine providence, the grace of God, that I or anyone can be and do the things we do, because God never leaves us. God never judges us, really. God just loves us. And I think I've been loved through 60. Actually, I've been loved through almost 80 years by a God that is relentless in that love. So
You have taught us all so much by your witness, by your words, in your faith, in the words, that wisdom you've just shared, even in responding to that question there. And that sense of love we will all carry with us. In the interest of time, I want to ask you maybe one last question, which is, What is a hope that you have for our caregivers as they continue to carry on the mission?
That's very easy for me, and that is to be mission in action, to be expressions of God's healing love, to be loving healers, be compassionate. And I would also say what I would really desire for you is that in your living your mission and being through the core values and our promise and everything, that you would always remember that even though it's not easy sometimes, it's God's work. It is not our work. It is God's work. The mission is the mission of Jesus, the mission of God. And I'd say a couple things about each individual person. I would desire for you that you really and truly be relentless, be persistent, be brave, be bold when it comes to the mission. Do not be afraid. Do not hesitate to be that mission in action. It isn't that we're caring for the poor and the vulnerable. We are doing that. That's the person or the person, those are the persons that we are serving. We're doing this consistently and persistently and relentlessly and steadfastly for all. We do this because we see Jesus' action, but the real mission is to be healing lovers, to be expressing God's healing love, no matter what our tradition is, because we know that love is what heals. So my desire for you is be faithful. Be faithful to who you are and to who God calls you to be as healing, loving, serving people. So
Thank you for that. And I know we could spend the whole afternoon asking you many, many other questions. But for now, we're going to turn it back over to Susan.
Oh, sister, thank you so much for your thoughtfulness in answering those questions. I learn something every time I hear you speak. And as you were speaking today, one of the things that I was reminded of is when I first joined the administrative team. I remember sitting in the boardroom one day and you looked at us all and you said, I am not the only mission leader here. You all are mission leaders. And that resonated with me. And I think that's, as you think about your wish to us moving forward, mission in action is the words we need to take away with us. And I really appreciate what you brought to this conversation. I also know you can see the chat and all the well wishes that you're getting. And there are just some wonderful things. I'm particularly struck by what Debbie Alley wrote. She said, yours was the first face I saw in my initial day at Providence orientation. The light dancing from your eyes and your greeting that included the phrase, we've been waiting for you, made me feel like I was finally home. And I still feel like that years later. I love that phrase, we've been waiting for you. And I challenge all of us to bring that into our work, that we've been waiting for you. And Jeff Phillips, who's our Community Mission Board Chair, writes about the amazing legacy you've led and that how you've been there for our caregivers. Those of us who've been fortunate enough to experience your love and compassion, we thank God for you. And many, many others. There's just so much here, and we will make sure that you get all of these well wishes because they come from the hearts of our caregivers, and you have left such an amazing footprint and imprint on our ministries. So let's talk about celebrations because we're not done yet. There is more to come, and yes, there's more. As you know, we have a whole day planned to celebrate you tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
We hope that you will join us for a parade that will have Sister Rosalie visiting Holy Family, St. Luke's, and Sacred Heart in a parade on the back of a convertible. So, the Holy Family Parade starts around 11:30. For those of you who are up north at Holy Family, join us at 11:30 to wish Sister Rosalie well. And then St. Luke's and Sacred Heart somewhere around 12:15 to 12:30ish. So be ready, and our amazing team here in the Inland Northwest has also provided bubble guns. There will be bubbles everywhere as you're coming by. So this is going to be truly a place to celebrate and enjoy. We'll also be hosting a reception in the Healing Garden outside of Sacred Heart beginning around 1 o'clock. So stop by and say hi. This is a special time to honor you, thank you, and really celebrate this amazing career with you. And it is not the last we will see of you, because you are still here. You will be with us in other areas, and we're just blessed to have you come by and visit us, not have to do work. So thank you to everyone for joining us today. We have recorded this, so if someone you know wasn't able to make the event, please let them know that they can still watch it. With that, I'll send everybody off, and just from the bottom of our hearts, sister, all I can say is, oh yes.
Can I just say to each of you, absolutely thank you. This is more than almost I can handle, but it's not about me. It really is about who you all are and how you've allowed me to be who I am, and that God has done this great work with us, and God will do that. So thank you. Be brave, be bold, be courageous, be lovers in action. Thank you.
And sister, I think we can say on behalf of every single person on this call, and for the many who wish they could be here, we love you. We love you. And we're wrapping our arms around you.
Thank you.